Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, light warriors, old souls, and evolving beings. I just wanted to pop on and talk about something that has caused a lot of emotions that are flying and floating around, and just wanted to help, if I can in any way, help you let go and release because some amazing things are happening and we don't want to miss them. So I'm going to start first with just a little clip on how the grieving process works to help you let go so that then you can receive and you can actually look at things from a different level so that you can see the gift that all of us light workers have been. So I was lucky enough that I was trained underneath the person who Elizabeth Kubler-Ross trained. So Elizabeth Kubler-Ross was the individual who created the 5 stages of grieving. And I'm going to go through the 5 stages really quickly, pop through as quickly as we can so that we get to the good stuff. She trained Greg Firth. Greg Firth, in a sense, when I was at New York University, I made the contact and was working at the Young Foundation, surprise, surprise. And I was so blessed to hook up with him. He wrote one of the most monumental books on analyzing the dreams and drawings of terminally ill children. Surprise, surprise. Of course, that ended up being the area that I went into. So, in these 5 stages of grief, and I'm going to even skip further than that, it starts with denial. Denial is like, no way, this can't be true. This didn't happen. No, we haven't been living in that type of world. Or no, I didn't just get that diagnosis. Or no, this person isn't really terminal. Well, in the stage of denial, let's pick something. So we take the concept of the denial people had of the reason why the ships, the naval ships, Comfort and Mercy came in. Comfort and Mercy came in specifically to work on the underground DUMBS. And yes, those horrible atrocities were going on. No, that couldn't be possibly true. There couldn't be underground tunnels. There couldn't be all this. There couldn't be these things that are happening to our children. Well, you move from the denial of all that and you get into anger. Now you're furious. Who could possibly hurt a child? Well, if you look at child welfare services, what really went on, if you look at Red Cross and what really went on, if you look at the highest child traffickers and what really went on, you're going to find there's a lot to be incredibly angry at. But we pushed through that anger. We started to realize that if you're living in the matrix, you're living in duality of evil opposing light. So you work through your anger and you're like, okay. All right, let me bargain here. I'm going to bargain that, oh boy, hey, this gives me a chance to set up homes for those children who came from that place, from the underground or wherever. I can put my soul out and create and care for them and do all of these things. Now, the amazing thing is, so many of the individuals who looked at it from that perspective didn't realize no human could possibly help those children. We needed outside resources. We needed off planet resources to do the healing. Some were beyond the ability of coming back and needed to be let go of and let their spark live in freedom. And I'm bringing up this hard stuff because I want to then parallel it to our beautiful planet Earth. And each planet that has a soul, which is not the moon. The moon is a satellite, may I say again. So after our bargaining, we're like, well, we'll do this. Or somebody who has an illness turns around, well, if I can survive this illness, then I'm going to go out and I'm going to do all these great things for humanity. And after we make it through the bargaining and we realize we have no control over these things, what happens? We get friggin' depressed. Because it's like, well, wait a minute. I couldn't save the children. Wait a minute. I couldn't save this planet. Wait a minute. I can't save any of this. What am I doing? And this is where the most incredible twist happens. It's when there is acceptance and letting go. Kubler-Ross did not speak of this because that spiritual perspective was missing from her eyes, from her view. But the fact is, once you let go of duality, the evil and the fighting the good, the living in the midst of the trauma, the holding on to illness that you no longer need to, you come to a level of acceptance. And in that level of acceptance, you can let things go because you know that every core thing went through the contract or what it needed to step through to the other side and receive the gift, the true gift of wholeness, love, unconditional being, what that soul needed to evolve to. Now, here's a whole piece everybody seems to be, or not everybody, many people who are holding on to the grief are still holding on to. So this morning I was given the beautiful little picture clip because sometimes that's how I get my answers of explanations. And I was shown during a period of time, they made these, maybe they still do, they're called ornaments, I believe, yarn ornaments. And what happens is you blow up a balloon, and then you take a piece of yarn, right? And you wrap the yarn very carefully and methodically around the balloon. And you can keep it symmetrical. And in this case, that's what we're going to do. And you keep wrapping and wrapping and wrapping. And once it's all nicely combined and wrapped, then you spray glue it. All right. I want you to think for a second that we are all the yarn combined and touching together. Every time that string touches, we are part of the collective. Okay? For a very long time, we have been wrapping and wrapping and joining. Yes, many times in the spiritual, in the etheric world. And we have been working and moving and changing things for freedom. And in the process of that, little ones of us just kind of stuck together like glue. Some of us don't even know each other yet. Some of us know of each other because we have remembrances of past lives or things that we did or when we cycled, all of those things. But that does not mean that we have yet gone up to that person and said, "Oh, I know you," and formed that bond. But those little pieces of glue where we join and stick together, we were so strong that literally, I want you to think we created as a collective, the light workers who moved on and have been holding from the higher dimensions, the strongest decoration, the strongest ornament, the strongest, most powerful resilience of new grid lines. And that balloon on the inside, I'm now going to call that balloon the soul of Mother Earth. That balloon had to go through all of those children, had to go through all of those deep, dark things, had to go through the duality, had to go through things that no human could ever imagine. So, for the first time, a beautiful gift of humanity, all of us, the light workers, got together and we were so strong. We are so together. We are so bold. We have done our work. We held so firmly together with each other, nothing could stop us. Nothing could stop our light. And so what happens? We got to pop the balloon. And the soul got to go. And she is forever grateful to us, as we are to her. And now we have something we could never have before, which is a whole new level of freedom. And in that level of freedom, we are creating our own little balls of yarn. And we are deciding where we want those little balls to go and who we want to join up with and who we want to play with. But this is no longer a time for grieving. This is a time for rejoicing. Yes, feel the pain and the grief. I tried to get those videos out on depression and those other things just to give people a chance to let themselves feel what they need to feel, realize, as so many of you did, because once you took the 10 points off the depression, like practically nobody was depressed. But you felt this release and you felt it go. And why do you think people were missing 4 to 5 hours of time? And why do you think you see the sprinkles in front of your eyes as things are dissolving? And why do you think all these physical things are going on? We're moving on. It is the most brilliant time ever. We have given a gift, each one of us, to the universe. And the universe has given us the gift back of freedom. So don't hang on to the grief. We don't need to any longer. If an addiction came back quickly, if an illness came back quickly, if anything, trauma came back quickly, all of that stuff, just let it go. It's just sloughing off of you. It's literally slipping and sliding off of you. For any of those who have done the energetic work, and you remember how long it was so hard for us. I mean, back when when Comfort and Mercy were there, so many of us were popping down and working with everyone, and you literally were filled with all this heaviness and this darkness and these connections, and you had to work, and over the last few years it's gotten lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter, and right now this is why we can have instant healings, because they're just literally, we're just moving beyond it. This is the time to create your new reality. What is it that you want? We were given the gift freedom and joy and enlightenment and walking off this universe, pulling our universe to a new universe, moving beyond. We're not all going to go in the same direction, and that's totally okay. That's a wonderful thing, because just as we let things go, as long as we do not attach, we get to pull in all the more wonderful things. And it is time, humanity. It is time. You must turn off the shows. That movie actually ended a few years ago. And the more that you pop in to try to find answers on that movie, the more you simply attach to yourself that it does not exist any longer. When a child dies, it is the most devastating thing in creation. And you go through this period of time where you don't know what to do. You don't know how to feel. You don't know where to go. You don't know what your life's going to be, because for the last 8 years or whatever it may have been, you were doing the chemo with them and going through all the stuff that they were going through. And you were living every day through them and what their needs were. And when that child dies, it never goes away. But there does come a day that you wake up and go, oh my goodness, my beautiful being of light is free. And my beautiful being of light gets to go explore the world and pop down and see me again when I'm open enough to do that. And that's us. We popped through. We are the light. We need to be having fun, embracing, enjoying, moving further. Start having visions of things that you can do. Last night was a riot. I was brought onto this crazy airplane. It was so beautiful. And on the airplane, I got to see these like new suns that were huge, and these beautiful animals that were coming through, and I didn't feel totally comfortable on the little plane, I got to tell you. And then all of a sudden this little plane took us through this, it looked like this city that was kind of underground, like a sort of portal. And I was like, oh, how is that plane going to get through? You can't see where you're going. It's so big. How's it going to fit? But you know what? We did. We made it through. We made it through. And then we came out to this big, glorious world. And the temperature was beautiful. Oh, I forgot. We went past the ice walls. The first part of it was going past the ice walls. It was phenomenal. You see, we have so much more to explore, so much more to see. But do you know how you get there? The only way you can get to the good stuff is by saying bye-bye to the old stuff and the old illusion of what we thought it was, because illusions change in a second. We don't want that old illusion. We don't live in that old illusion. We are creating a whole new, beautiful space. And we did it, beautiful light workers. I thank you and you and you and you. I love you all so very much from the bottom of my heart, because we are the greatest collective of all now time. And we are finishing some stuff that couldn't even be finished a few thousand years ago. That's how great we are. So please put that joy into your heart. Unstick yourself from the muck. We're, we're in a whole new adventure. Embrace it. I love you.